I heard you guys roaring back there about Angel Hernandez. It is such a breathtaking thing to witness, a union so strong that someone who is clearly incompetent, who enrages your star players and also Kyle Schwarber because he's just the worst. I've called him a blight on our people, and you cannot fire him. It's impossible. Like, they've got out in public with the ability to replace this guy with robots. They've got an umpire who everyone in the sport hates because they know that he's terrible. And yesterday he makes Kyle Schwarber cartoonishly react with rage, with cartoon Popeye rage of you call it up here, you call it over there. Do you know how hard this is to bleeping do? This guy's throwing 98. Look at what just came out of the bullpen. It's Hader. He's left-handed. He's throwing 101. I've got a 3-2 mother bleeping count, Angel. I'm good at my job. God damn it, you got to be kidding me. He's hard to hit. I just got to walk in a 1-0 game, 1-0 because fuck you, Angel Hernandez. Like, of course he's enraged.
The best part is that he sits there like, you're right. He doesn't even argue back. He kind of just like, look, we got a good union. That's why I'm still here. I know I'm terrible. I don't want to be calling strikes anymore either. There should be a robot doing this, but here I am.
That's not true. He does want to be calling strikes because there's no reason. You just, Angel, look, you're terrible. You're just doing second base the rest of the way, okay? You're never going to be behind the plate again. I'm sorry. We're just going to limit your freedoms. You can't move around. You will never be the crew chief. You're just, look, we'll keep you on board, Angel. Angel he's from here. He lives like in Pembroke Pines or something. Angel, you can work the rest of your life. Right field outfielder. Like right field line, outfield. We're creating a new
Can't even do third base? You can't even do third base? No, too many lefty batters.
You're not trusting him with the check swing?
Did he go?
What else is like that in sports? We are demanding these baseball players be so precise, and you might as well have a rodeo clown umping behind home plate, just calling whatever strike zone he feels like.
If you're asking what says imprecise, it's punts going out of bounds in the NFL. The guy, they 100% make that up. I have no shit seen someone be 7 yards off.
But
how do you know it was right?
Because I'm looking at my vantage point from the upper. I have a better vantage point than some old dude looking up. I'm telling you, I've seen someone be 7 yards off.
What is this?
Okay, Chris. I don't understand how you come back on vacation and all you do is immediately start questioning Whittingham, who's been at the games.
He's saying he's better at judging that. Come on, what are we doing?
I 100% am.
Oh, 100%.
I have 40 years better of vision.
You know what? It checks out. He's right.
I want to ask you guys, because you guys were talking about how is this still allowed? We've been talking about robots in this sport for 10 years. How can you actively ask your athletes to hit 100 miles an hour? And then, Chris Cote, I heard you saying that even not the broadcast box isn't sufficient for you. You're so in the weeds on you want precision from your pitches that you don't trust the broadcast box that's giving you what the strike zone is.
Well, I've heard Paul Severino, the Marlins play-by-play guy, say, if our box is right, that was right there. And I was like, is this box right or is it not? Like, why is it here if it's not right? Maybe that's why we don't have robot umpires at this point, because maybe it's not as foolproof as it looks on the screen when I see that motherfucking ball outside the box, and this umpire is still like, and it's like, you stupid fool! I can see that it was outside the box. Why? What are we doing here?
Here's a question: why do umpires make sounds instead of just saying strike?
It's a good question.
Why? Just say strike. Strike.
No, because it's so much more fun. Like, strike is boring and repressed, but making a sound that echoes throughout the stadium because you're in charge. Your judgment is in charge. You're feeling good about yourself. You give them a little ha.
Yeah.
The sound followed by the point.
You got to imagine that these guys grow up doing that or some version of it in the mirror, right? They have to. All of them have a refined.
Doesn't everyone? Yeah. I feel like even non-umpires. I did. Yeah, I would watch games at home and be like, yeah.
Wait a minute! You just did an imaginary finger gun. What was that? What kind of strike call was that?
Yeah, it's like it's an up and then down. It's yeah.
But that's only 3, right? That's only strike 3. You got to have like tonal differences.
No. 3 is you raise your arm up and then you punch, right? I don't know. I've lost it there. But either way, it's an arm. Oh yeah, it's an arm up like this and then a punch that way. Yeah, there you go. I got there.
You got self-conscious. You got self-conscious in the middle of the YMCA.
I realize that I haven't watched baseball in 3 years and I've forgotten how strikeouts work.
I like that, most of us are practicing our batting stances in the mirror, but Woody's just practicing his umpire call. The most cop-like job in all of sports, being a ref or an umpire.
Anyone else do the NFL signals at home? You do the pass interference defense. I do that. I do that at home sometimes or at the game. Love doing that.
You always got to point across your body, though. If you're pointing to the right, you go with your left arm. You know what I mean?
Well, that's if you have 2 tickets to the gun show.
Right, but it just looks better, like the Ed Hockey, across the body, as opposed to this is just not. You got to go across. If it's first down this way, across the body, and then you show the tricep. You get it.
Jessica, you pointed out something that is the correct thing to point out, which is that even as a young boy, Fancy Lad dreamed of legislating. Even as a young boy, he dreamed of adjudicating and enforcing rules.
He's a co-op.
It's wonderful that that this would be your dream, to be an umpire with a call, but now you've aged and you no longer know what your strike call is. But you guys were talking about Angel Hernandez. How is this allowed?
For me, the amazing thing is that Kyle Schwarber has clearly lost the plot and yet somehow makes an entirely cogent argument. You call them high. You call them low. You call them inside. You call them outside. You call them wrong for both teams. What are you doing?
It was a dance.
And he is as indignant as a human being can be, and yet was making a 100% foolproof argument.
Only because it was Angel, though. If that's any other umpire, you think he's completely in the wrong.
His hand motions were so incredible. If there was a plane flying over that game, he could have landed it on the field because if he had 2 little baton lights in his hands, that thing was coming to home.
Do you guys understand that Kyle Schwarber is the cartoon manifestation speaking for maybe 20 years of baseball players? When he's out there doing that dance of rage, he's telling everybody, you have been incompetent, Angel Hernandez, at your job, terrible at it forever, and everyone sides with me, even though I look like a lunatic. Everyone understands because they know the reputation Angel Hernandez has of being terrible. Let's segue into some of the local news here, Mike, because I don't know. Billy will be with us shortly. He is back in from Miguel Cabrera's 3,000th hit. Chris Cote is in off of a cruise vacation. I imagine this Monday is hard. I imagine you feel pretty slothy, not great about yourself.
Yeah, I had a couple days. I got back on Wednesday, so I had a couple days buffer. So I feel better than I normally would coming back from a vacation. But yes, the alarm hit me hard this morning.
But the cruise, I'm talking about the drinking and the buffets and the drinking and the sun and the buffets and 7 days.
Gambling.
And then you imagine you're going to go to the gym. Maybe you'll get a couple of days in the gym. But,
I walked.
But
yeah. I walked. It's not good. I hit big at the casino the last night of the cruise, so that made coming off the cruise a little easier. That's always nice. The first night, you're going to blow it all. The last night, they can't get me now.
Congratulations on your gambling.
I don't know why I brought that up. But
very
just felt important.
It seems
it did help me get off the cruise though, because
It's a
I was up late.
It's a euphoric experience that anyone can connect with.
I was up late the last night at the casino, thinking, "Oh man, if this is a loss, it's gonna be a rough morning." But yeah, it was good.
No, that's a nice medicine, a sedative for I've got to go back to work. This has been a week of gross sloth. I'm with my dad. He hasn't stopped drinking. My dad's just been shoveling beers into his face for 7 straight days. We've been staggering around this boat and now our ship, and now I get to get off with thousands of dollars because I'm a winner. I'm not a loser. I feel like a loser.
My liver hates me.
I smell like a loser.
Oh, God. I cleansed and everything. I needed it after that. Oh, man. 5 straight. Yeah, I didn't. Well, I just didn't drink.
Like physically?
That's a cleanse for you. Just
drink a lot of water. I don't know what normal people do.
That's a fast. You're basically doing what Kyrie Irving is doing.
Just stopped drinking for 2 days.
Yeah. No, all 4 days. Wow.
Look at me.
Which is actually, I don't generally drink during the week, but that cruise, 5 straight days, baby. Which is hard. Nowadays, in your mid-30s, 5 straight days of a drink package.
I want to talk about what the Miami Heat did to Trae Young. That's not that easy to do. Trae Young is saying that He hasn't been guarded that way since high school.
Bro, shut up, Trey. The guy has an incredible ability to say like one of the worst things possible every time he goes to a post-game press conference after a loss.
All right, you're going to come in hot again today?
I'm so sick of Trey Young and his constant complaining
All right.
and his like weird quotes.
Before you get sick of Trey Young, okay, before you extinguish this,
Bodied by Gabe Vincent.
Is that not a compliment? It's a compliment.
He's complimenting the Heat's defense.
No, it is a compliment to the Heat, and it's an insult to every other professional NBA player that he's ever gone against. I haven't been guarded that way since high school. Shut up, man.
Why are you complaining about the Heat?
Bo designed a defense.
No.
The Heat are being
things.
on another level.
I love my Miami Heat. I love them. There you go. The Miami Heat. Drink. I love the Miami Heat, and it's a great compliment. But shut up. Don't insult the rest of the NBA.
Mike, I need you to
clown.
Mike, I need you
You're
to
just
please.
looking for
Clown.
reasons to be
Loser
upset.
franchise.
Okay, just please stop.
More evidence that last year was a
for the
fraud
love of
year.
God. Mike.
Terrible culture. That team quits
Mike,
all the time.
Mike,
Nate McMillan's a dope.
I can't do 2 months of this with you. I can't do it revving.
Congrats on your 1-point victory, Nate. What is your career now against Spo in the playoffs? 1-7?
Oh, I saw those numbers
Clown
actually.
shoes.
Hold on a second. The
Clown
Heat,
shoes.
in the 6 times they've beaten Atlanta, what was the point total last night that they won by? It's like
48.
No, it's like plus 100 in the 6 games, and the 2 losses, the Hawks have won by 3 points, the 2 of them, and it's because Jimmy Butler at the end reveals an issue that they have, which isn't going away. The solution to we're not good late in games is don't let them be close late. Because that third game, what happened offensively in that third game with the last 2 possessions is going to be like as you swing back and forth on Jimmy, as you swing back and forth, 45 points one night, last night he's amazing. There are going to be some games lost with some of those shitty shots at the end because that's not something that they're good at.
Yeah, no, they're not good, Dan. They're not good at the end of games. I would say extend a bit to them given that Kyle Lowry was out. There were multiple reasons why the offense looked a little constipated in the middle of a game. It's hard to come with adjustments.
Well, but all year, Mike, when Kyle Lowry has been out, they're not the same team. I did not know what to expect from them last night because they have been, as you would expect, appreciably better with Kyle Lowry. The thing that I want to push you off of, though, because you're crazy, you're just nuts.
I feel like my tone is good.
Is that Trey Young, who
Loser.
I was going to say
saying,
charming villain.
supplementing.
Charming villain.
Charming.
Is Mike.
Charming.
Mike, you need to
Charming.
back off.
What is charming
Mike.
about the lollipop that you found in the
Mike.
back of your sofa?
Mike.
What is charming about this guy? Absolutely nothing.
You're going to make fun of his hair now? The lollipop on the back.
He's a dum-dum.
You mean it like a lollipop?
Yes, that's what I mean, because he looks like a lollipop that you found on the carpet.
Mike, this person, okay, I'm not going to let you do this early in the playoffs.
Make fun of his physical appearance? All right, I apologize.
Not
Trey.
just that.
Loser.
Because not
Loser franchise. Nothing to be proud of.
Mike.
Our home, our building, our fans. Get out of our lives. Losers.
What happened in the week I was gone? I thought we hated Philly like this. When
We
did we
still
start
do?
hating
I can't
Atlanta
do
like
this
this?
Look,
with
man,
him.
I'm
I
punching
can't-
down
no,
because
Mike.
I'm just trying to train for Philly.
He's trying to get a win in.
Just trying to
Look, man.
train.
And
okay.
Embiid already has the thumb thing. The Philly thing is already not going to be the same.
Yeah. Taco Max sucks. Very bland food.
Mike, I need you to back
Magic
off.
City wings, overrated. They're tiny. I've ordered on Goldbelly. They're tiny. Very tiny. Flavorful, yes. Worth breaking quarantine? No.
I will not allow you to ruin that Trey Young was a lovable villain, different than what Kyrie feels like, just sort of a sports villain who enjoyed slaying
That's
New
because
York.
Trey Young is totally
Mike,
harmless.
Please back off for a second. Please.
Harmless player. Loser.
The man is a charming story as a villain who just extinguished a Knicks season last season and Cleveland season, went into the buildings and shut crowds up, is great fun, and he has run into a defense that is hostile, and he does not have enough secondary people, and he has looked like an amateur, not a superstar. He turns the ball over, and he does not look anything close to a superstar, and it's why I asked you at the beginning of this series, is he going to have trouble sleeping at night? Because this defense makes it that kind of difficult on people. Now, that's why you should be excited about your team, because they can do that to Trae Young.
They can do that to everybody, which is why I got frustrated when people wouldn't give Bam Adebayo his flowers or this team their flowers. It was a really fun game last night. Heat fans got their taste of Oladipo and are using plus-minus as confirmation bias. I guess that's kind of cool. I think we got a little lucky when Oladipo was in there. They missed a lot of bunnies. Atlanta's just not a good team.
What happened with that Skip Bayless, of all people, report that Jimmy and Oladipo don't want to be on the court together,
I
according
reported
to
that.
Jimmy?
Skip Bayless said that too?
Skip Bayless
He's got good sources.
Skip Bayless just said that
Maybe he heard me say it?
no, that
Because
Jimmy,
I tweeted that after Game 3. I've heard that Jimmy, he doesn't feel like his game meshes well with Victor Oladipo, and that's why, amongst other reasons, obviously the fitness, and Oladipo, 40-point game notwithstanding, kind of got off to a rough start in getting himself back into this rotation. Yeah, Jimmy doesn't enjoy sharing that. He'd rather share the court with other people. So I have to be careful with how I phrase it. I don't think there's beef, but if there's still beef, there's probably a little still beef with Udonis.
It's being portrayed as beef. Regardless,
Yeah,
Jimmy,
I know that Jimmy and Udonis aren't right.
Jimmy Butler was amazing yesterday. Didn't need Tyler Hero at all. Tyler Hero didn't give them anything. Didn't need anything from Duncan Robinson. Jimmy Butler, because of the critical piece as a two-way player in that defense, was able to slaughter and drag Trae Young and his reputation now, because Trae, we're already doing the thing, Mike. Paul Pierce is already saying, every year we do this. It's Jason Tatum right in front of our eyes, climbing in the hierarchy past Kevin Durant.
It is. I would love to talk about Jason Tatum, but let's talk about the Heat a little bit more during the local hour. With regards to Victor Oladipo, former two-time All-Star, I think he's still proven that he can be a very serviceable defender. I thought he was very physical last night. He's got huge length at that position, especially when you run him at the one, where Miami kind of had to a little bit because of the injury to Kyle Lowry. It was smart of Eric Spoelstra to insert Victor Oladipo in this situation. I don't know if it's sustainable for Victor in terms of playing time.
Well, but that's not my takeaway from last night, and I was just talking about the report in general, because when losses are going to appear here, this stuff is going to careen wildly back and forth between Jimmy's fine with everybody as long as everybody's winning, but is he going to run up against Jason Tatum, and Jason Tatum is not going to allow him to look like that, because Boston's defense is every bit as good as Miami's.
I will say if the Miami Heat, I said the Miami Heat again. We'll say if the Heat get eliminated, you're going to hear a whole bunch of dirty laundry from a franchise that doesn't have it. Because even while they're winning, Jimmy's not okay with everybody. He's a peculiar dude. And they can win in spite of that. And it doesn't need to be kumbaya with everybody. They get along when they're on the court.
It's such an interesting mercenary, though. Like the idea that he would get here a couple of years ago, be a star, feel like a star, go through some fire with Dwayne Wade and Rondo and Chicago, and come out and say, I don't want to go to the Sixers. I don't want to be with the Timberwolves. I want my own franchise down in the sun. I want to make beer commercials. And in those beer commercials, you're not going to see my teammates. It's going to be made to look like they're my teammates. It's just going to be me. And you're not going to see anybody else that you recognize in those commercials. And Jimmy Butler is the only one of the Heat players who has those kinds of commercials. Duncan Robinson has to go with that Greek moving company.
Oh, the good Greek.
How many of those commercials have we seen? Did they buy every local avail on TNT?
Yeah.
They're on all the time.
Max Strus is a hell of a player, by the way. Duncan Robinson's going to be taking those advertisements, just like he took his playing time.
It's crazy. It's crazy and Max Strus just keeps shooting because he started terribly. Like he was 2 for 9, but he will just keep jacking shit up.
Also, what I wanted to say about, because I'm watching him, and okay, he seems like he's a good defender, right? He's a tenacious defender,
Well, he
a
did
willing
in
defender, a
Boston.
good team defender. These are all things that I say when I'm not sure the numbers are going to back me up, and I'm not sure the numbers are going to back me up because he's white. So, I am borderline ready to say Max Strus is a good defender for his physical skill set.
And for you not being able
limitations.
to define it at all because we still don't have good defensive metrics that help, or understandable defensive metrics that will allow you to know whether Strus is indeed good at defense.
There are a lot of times he's totally left on an island. Miami Heat do so many switching, and he's not taking advantage of. I don't know if that's because the Hawks are a totally gutless loser franchise.
Mike, why are you doing this to Atlanta again and again?
I'm not doing it. The Heat are. I'm not doing anything. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing, Dan.
Gutless loser franchise.
Pulling it down the middle.
Why do you feel this way? I don't understand why you feel this kind of vitriol toward, like, you should feel good about the fact that you're extinguishing an 8 seed.
Technically 9. Yeah. I don't feel good about this. Kidding me? This is not a challenge. This is some team that popped off at the mouth last year because we had all sorts of injury and COVID protocol and thought that they were good just because they beat an overrated Knicks team. Let me tell you something. If we had that Knicks series, it would have been over in 5-2. All right?
We're really doing that?
Yeah, we're really doing that. The Atlanta Hawks were tricked into thinking they were good because they beat 2 gutless franchises in the Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers, who suck, by the way. And we'll have our day with them soon enough, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Mike. You're unhinged. Jessica, are you bemused by this? Because
how did the Clint Capella thing go, guys?
We're just starting, Jessica. This gets worse. It'll be Philadelphia, Boston. I don't even know. I don't think there's anything in the finals that can make it worse than the climb to the finals. I'm almost rooting for the Heat not to get to the finals, so he doesn't become the kind of insufferable he's going to become. I mean, he's just started.
I wonder if the audience feels the same way as me, whereas, I find that when the show talks about Miami sports teams, I find myself rooting against the Miami Heat, but rooting for the Florida Panthers for some reason. There's so much anger behind the fandom.
For some reason. No, you got it right. For some reason, you're feeling the right thing. Roy and Chris Cote are not hostile. You guys
are happy about the Panthers.
They're not hostile.
But the Heat, I get scared. I get scared when we talk about the Heat.
Well, it's because he cares more about it than any reasonable human being who's an adult should.
I care deeply about the Florida Panthers, and that'll come out come playoff time.
Not like this, though. No way. No way.
Ooh, are we playing the Caps?
You're going to go. Are you going to go at Tampa this way? You're going to go.
I hate Tampa.
You're not going to go at Tampa.
I hate Tampa. I hate it so much.
You will not go at Tampa.
You see what happened last night? Congrats to them, I guess. Ooh, that one. It was difficult going to sleep at 9:30.
What happened?
Last night. Lightning ended our 13-game win streak.
9:30. Wow, late night.
13-game winning streak in hockey is nuts.
And I'm right back to feeling no confidence at all about the Florida Panthers. Every loss saps it out of me. Where I feel hyper confident about the Panthers. Spencer Knight gives up 5 goals in a period and a half, and I'm right back to where I were at the start of the season, which is they're going out in round 1. This team isn't going to do anything.
This first series is huge. If it goes long,
if they
7
lose
games,
game 1,
they lose game 1, I'm gonna poop myself.
Yes.
Already, you guys have
Man, they don't win playoff series.
But Jessica, do you see when you ask the question? Do you see the difference? Mike's been through these wars and hasn't been scarred. Or hasn't he? Wins some of the wars. He gets to talk the trash at the end a few times.
The difference is Chris Cote says if they lose, he's gonna poop himself. Where I'm convinced Mike is going to commit some sort of homicide if the Heat lose a game.
Yeah.
That's the difference between poop and homicide.
Or if
Mike goes to jail, I just need a shower.
It'll be manslaughter.
I think you're willingly doing it. I think it's murder. You're murdering this show with your homerism this fast into the playoffs.
No one respected Miami this year at all. No one respected us. So I'm coming.
Mike, you have a good basketball team. You're the 1 seed. What are you doing this lovable underdog thing for? You got 4 mercenaries.
We're the hateable underdog. That's exactly how I like it.
It's mostly been the ignored underdog this season,
which I am.
You don't like it. No,
hate.
You want to fight people. What the disrespect is that we've been talking about the Nets all season, an objectively more interesting team because you really have. We'll get to this later in the show.
The Nets? You want to talk about the Nets? Why do you want to talk about the Nets? They're about to get swept.
I will tell you why. Because I think the thing that's happening with Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, all of them addicted in different ways to whatever it is that happens with social media cruelty crawling around on top of you. You're dealing with, as we want to have a mental health conversation, you're dealing with 3 guys in the new generation of athletes who took the power for themselves, and now Grandpa Stephen A. Smith is screaming at them on television in the new modern evolution of like, what do you think mental illness is going to look like if not for addicted guys who seem like they're men, muscled men, but Ben Simmons might be very young and has been famous very long and got spit out by that Kardashian machine. I don't know what's happening with him, but man, Stephen A. Smith, who profits off of this kind of slashing, that's not going to look great later on as you see today's young athlete, different from the media members crucifying them. That team is objectively more interesting as it goes flames out, and the media enjoys it, like eats it up because they can devour those three guys because you're rooting against them.
I appreciate your perspective on the Nets and invoking mental health. I will say that mental health can also look like Jason Tatum. Mental health can also look like the Boston Celtics totally destroying the Brooklyn Nets. So I think what we're seeing right now is a reckoning for the behavior, because Brooklyn and those players in particular, not so much Ben, because I'm not sure what he's thinking. He hasn't been super public. He's been very guarded while he dresses as Skeeter from Doug.
You saw what Reggie Miller did, right? Because that was funny on the sidelines to see him dressed. Everybody's in black, and he is wearing, I saw somebody tweeted kid and calling him kid and won't play, because he was going orange and purple and 70 look at me colors while everything else about him says don't look at me.
This is one of the reasons why the NBA dress code actually protected the players. I know they want to have their swag and their quarter zips as coaches now, but I'm telling you, if you're forced to wear a suit, you're not going to become a meme because you're not left to your own style devices.
He was wearing sunglasses as well. And I do ask you guys, I don't want to get too far from the Heat, but the reason I'm finding interesting the escalations in Brooklyn is because, whoa, Stephen A. got mad. You are a professional, Kyrie Irving, at missing work. I would not trust you 1 year. Ben Simmons, clown, pathetic. I'm just telling you, these guys, and Mike, I know you don't want everyone stigmatized with whatever it is. The stigmas come with mental health as we're having these conversations. Don't generalize about this is mental health and this isn't. But as we argue about, man, Adam Silver says his league, his players are unhappy. Like he says his young players are unhappy. What happens to distort these young men who look like men and may have, maturity in areas, but this is a new age that Magic and Michael didn't have to deal with, where everyone's in your mentions and there's poison everywhere. You're learning from every angle who hates you, and Kyrie leaned into it. And Durant's tired of fighting. He had the easier path. He should have stayed in Golden State. Would have won for 10 years. Would have won for 10 years.
Riding the bus, not driving the bus, according to Charles Barkley. I think Stephen A. did a good job of being the I think you should leave meme, dressed as a hot dog. We're all trying to find out the person that did this because Stephen A. was speaking for the audience. That was a very popular take from Stephen A., but also we're exhausted and really reveling in the Nets 0-3 hole because of coverage from guys like Stephen A. Smith and the network.
But it's a never-ending fountain for us to feed at this trough and just nets, ratings.
Are you not enjoying it?
Am I enjoying them losing?
Because you were watching game one and you were rooting for Kyrie a little bit, and now I'm really enjoying the comeuppance.
I'm not. I don't want them embarrassed. I know how great they are. If they don't have answers because of Steve Nash, the part that I'm finding interesting and curious, and I think this is happening with everybody, is like some version of, oh, wait, can Tatum actually guard Durant?
Tatum's become an all-world defender. We were talking back here, if we were starting the NBA over again and you were GM tasked with winning a championship and also keeping your job, Jason Tatum is a top 3 NBA draft pick at this point when you consider his age. I go Giannis, Luka, Tatum.
He's got more 30-point games in the playoffs before 25 in Celtics history now than Larry Bird.
Incredible defender out of nowhere, too.
Well, yes, blocking Kevin Durant's shot in a way. This was... I could say Achilles all I want. Durant did score 50 against Giannis. Like Durant was there a toenail away, and I don't recognize this Durant. And you said it was afraid of being on the court or whatever, or is Jason Tatum in his head?
I think he was just trying to make the smart basketball plays because he's resigned to the fact that him going 1v1 against Tatum isn't a smart basketball
I've never
play now.
seen that before from him, though. Not LeBron, not anybody. It's not that you've got to prove. You got to keep proving that one to me because
You have seen it from LeBron in one very high-profile instance, and I think that's the only comp, really.
I mean, you also have the 2010 when they lost to Boston as well, where it seemed like everyone was saying afterwards, even though it accumulated all these stats, that wasn't a LeBron James performance. I also think that like in the last 6 minutes of that game 3, it seemed pretty clear like they felt like it would like they had been checkmated by Boston, and I feel like Miami and Boston were uniquely qualified to do this to them. Maybe Milwaukee would have gotten there. I think they had to kind of get sharpened up by this Bulls series, and they went to Chicago and kicked their ass. But like, I think Miami and Boston, by what they do defensively, were going to cause them a problem, and we're going to make Bruce Brown and Claxton and Drummond and what's left of Goran Dragic beat them in this series. And I think it's been proven that without Ben Simmons, they don't have enough.
Mike was saying that. Where are they going to get their other points? And Bruce Brown went off. He was, but
Get that dude some help.
you cannot count on Bruce Brown when you have Kyrie Irving and Durant. This is what happened to the Hawks last night. They can get some scoring from some Gallinari and
Bogdanovich
and
can
Collins.
go off in
Yes,
stretches.
but not. They lose if Trae Young is haunted, is running around the court haunted, and it's just
Right,
so
because
rare.
of defense. I get so mad on behalf of defense. Part of what's going on with the Heat is, yes, I'm absolutely a homer, and I'm psychotic about it, and I'm only going to get worse, and don't try to stop me. But the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat play tremendous defense, and while we're out here arguing on Twitter and elevating people to bucket status just because they shot 40% from the field and got to the line 18 times and therefore are a bucket, it's impossible at times to score against Miami and Boston. It truly is. And it's such a great part of the game is as the league has evolved offensively, we're seeing now defenses rise to the occasion. We're seeing players like Time Lord and Bam go out there and answer the bell and be able to stay on the court when these teams go small. It's a beautiful thing, this evolution.
But in enjoying, Mike, the comeuppance of the Nets or the Hawks suck, Trae Young, get him out of here. I'm not entertained by your villainy. I don't want your storylines. Get out of here. I think what you lose in the rabid emotion of that is the awesome. In this last weekend, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, well, it's got to be that the person in the playoffs who might be great, who I least trust, is Karl Anthony Towns. I least trust him. I don't know why it's 8 points, and then he's taking 4 shots. And he's being asked after the game why he's only taking 4 shots. And he's like, next question. He's asked how he's going to get his team up. He's like, I'm going to go home and drink wine. I would have said.
Did you see how Karl Anthony Towns changed his voice for the Izzy
more
sideline
bass
interview?
He had more
He
bass
started
in
talking
his
like
voice.
Kobe.
He did. He tried to get.
We're not satisfied. Shut up, man. I saw 4 games ago. You had a parade for clinching.
But that team is young, and Barkley is enjoying the hell out of calling them dumb on television, which, again, Mike, I will remind you, young people on television and grandpas now, Charles Barkley and Stephen A. Smith, are howling at them, saying they're dumb. Just again and again, Barkley's on the Timberwolves. They're just young. Dumb. Dumbest I've seen. Your grandpa just hammering them on television. But Karl Anthony Towns would be third on the list because, and I didn't have this coming before the playoffs. Oh, wow, you can shut down Kevin Durant and Trae Young. Like, I don't trust them to do anything against these defenses. And
You said Jason Tatum. You said Karl Anthony Towns would be third over Tatum. I think you meant Tatum.
No. What I'm saying, don't trust.
Okay.
I'm saying Karl Anthony Towns, you head into the playoffs, who's a great player that you just don't know what you're going to get. I would have put Karl Anthony Towns at the top of that list. But right now, when I'm watching Trae Young and I'm watching Kevin Durant, I'm like, I don't trust them to not turn the ball over or dribble off their foot or have their 7th turnover. Did Miami have 4 turnovers last night? Think about this. Atlanta can't win. This is impossible mathematically. It's a mathematical riddle. Miami doesn't even have to shoot well for what I'm about to say to be true. I think the Miami Heat had 4 turnovers. I think 3 of them, it was 6. At the time the game was being decided and almost at the end, it was 4, and 3 of them were charges, offensive fouls, and 1 was a shot clock violation. No easy baskets there. You take away Atlanta's easy.
No live ball turnovers.
You
during that stretch.
None, 0.
Yeah.
So you've got if they can't get easy baskets.
That's without their starting point guard, Dan. That's crazy.
And they got to fight for everything. That's correct. That was the crazy stat is I think did Trae Young have more turnovers than all the Heat? Because that's the nightmare. The nightmare scenario is he can't fix this.
He had 5. Miami did unbelievably well navigating the loss of Kyle Lowry, and that was one of the benefits of surviving this season the way that they did. I mean, they excelled when guys were hurt. They know exactly how to play just fine when one of those guys goes out, and we're already seeing injury bug is biting every team, and Miami is as well equipped as anybody I can recall because of how often they've had to play at a high level without a key player. They just keep on rolling, baby.
For me, like after a quarter and a half, I thought that the Lowry thing was really hurting them because we saw the fourth quarter of Game 3. They go on a 21-0 run. Lowry goes out, and all of a sudden they fell apart. And then Atlanta was up 7 or up 8 midway through the second, and then
Oladipo comes in.
Right, and then Miami completely turns it on, and the Lowry thing is fine. I still don't think, though, that the Heat have experienced playoff basketball, though, in the way that, like, teams put you under pressure to make choices about which players are going to make, because the Heat got to play everybody. Everybody that was in their rotation during the regular season got to play in this series. I don't think that's going to be the case when they play Milwaukee or Boston.
I don't think Oladipo plays.
I told you before the playoffs started, and didn't have anything to do with Jimmy Butler. I did not think, and when they started testing the Morris minutes and the Oladipo minutes, which is where they hit that 4-game losing streak on spacing and everything else, Mike, where Spo was fighting with Jimmy Butler, part of that was trying to figure out how to fit Oladipo and Morris, get them minutes to evaluate whether they could pass Martin and Strus. Like, that's what they were doing. That 4-game losing streak, and we didn't exactly have patience around it because things are crazed around all of these people, right? What Kyrie Irving invited in Boston is nuts. I'm not surprised that while fasting, he would be broken under it.
Jaylen Brown is also fasting, should be noted.
Also, we were talking about Max Strus earlier in this local hour, and Mike, I have some numbers to back up that he's actually like amazing at defense.
Wow. Yeah? Really?
His defensive.
Because I labeled him competitive because I was worried.
Jeremy showed me a stat that he has the best defensive rating amongst any player who's played at least 25 minutes per game in the playoffs, and the Heat are 28 points per 100 possessions worse when he is off the court on defense.
Oh, come on. It's like 7 point. Wait a minute. It's like 7.8 for Gobert. It's like 4 for Bam. Get out of here. 28-point difference.
They're a 90.6 defensive rating when he's on the court.
What's the sample?
It's the series.
The series.
And it's 118.6 when he's off.
Okay, so in the 6 wins this season against the Hawks.
That is great. Thank you for that. Wow. Strus is a good defender. We can say it.
The Heat are plus 92 against the Hawks. I don't want to do this as
player. Can you imagine if he were on the Celtics? I'd be worried.
Well, they've got 3 guys, tres leches. If they've got 3 guys, the Heat do that Boston's going to hate and Boston would love.
You know who I trust the most out of Duncan, Tyler, Strus? I trust Strus the most.
Well, he's going to keep shooting.
He keeps shooting. He competes. I love Max Strus. Tyler is always good for those pick sixes and those soft passes. They drive me nuts.
This is shocking.
I trust Max Strus more than any of the other white guys on the team. There, I said it.
No, this is shocking.
I said it.
A shocking. We've gone crazy here with everything that's happening. I can't get Mike to settle down.
He's our best defender.
Mike, I want you to please be less Homer Mike. Max Strus is going to crush everyone.
Pero lo que le espera, Max Strus, when this season is over. He better get his shit together and take this team on a deep run because he does not want to face your father. And as soon as this playoff run is over, that's what he knows is coming for him.
It is true. He does not. I've received word from Udonis that Max Strus is actively avoiding my father. My father, he doesn't want to be seen around him. Now, I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to give him the Rona.
It could be COVID protocol.
Yeah.
But he does. It could be. It could be fear as well.
Why are you trying to calm Mike down? He's very excited. We're up 3-1. We're about to Yeah, I mean, season ticket holder back from 2011, I think.
Yeah, Stugotz,
I waited Orlando game, LeBron. Yeah.
Stugotz, I waded into the waters by going out there with the take that I felt like Max Strus was a good defender because that's what my eyes were telling me. But I didn't want to go out there and say it fully because he's a white guy. So I said things like he's competitive and willing and a good team defender. But the numbers bear it out. He's all of a sudden the greatest defender we have.
He went back.
Nowhere.
He went back to Boston. In Boston, he called it the Max Strus Revenge Tour. He defended Tatum at the end. He had like a block and a strip on Tatum. Ridiculous.
It turns out it wasn't just the meme, though. I thought it was a funny thing that happened in an isolated incident.
So did I. I thought it was a total fluke when I saw it.
It's really good.
Well, he says he takes more pride in that than in the offensive stuff. But the reason you trust him, and I can't believe you're now out there with the take, I trust him more than Tyler Hero, who is as fearless a rookie as we had ever seen a few years ago because we were like, holy shit, this guy just keeps shooting.
Little too fearless, little reckless. I understand where Mike is going.
He's very careless with the ball.
Yep.
How many pick sixes? When I think of Tyler Hero, you know what I think of? Not a bucket. I think of him lazily walking up half court and trying a lazy touch pass and it going back the other way for 6.
Mm-hmm.
What you love about Strus is it's 2 for 9 and you're not afraid that he's going to go 2 for 18. Like he's going to just keep coming down. This is what I'm telling you.
I love those guys. I love them for all the reasons I have problems with Duncan Robinson in the playoffs. I just see it where Duncan doesn't want to shoot, where Duncan doesn't want to get involved, where Duncan doesn't want smoke. I don't mean to make this a Max versus Duncan thing because Max is taking a lot of different people's playing time. Max wants all the smoke.
What do you make of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope saying that Duncan is his least favorite guy to guard in the entire league? Part of that is because you got to chase him around.
Right. They gave him the Ray Allen package. They gave him the Dwayne Wade said a similar quote when he was guarding Ray Allen over in Boston, that we were trying to wonder at times Dwayne Wade would struggle offensively when he was playing the Boston Celtics, and it's because he was running around like a madman. Spo did that with Duncan Robinson to get him open. No, in the NBA right now, there's so many transition pull-up threes. They're just killing you, but nobody's working you in the half court. Duncan Robinson's elite at that because he had to be. He had to get his conditioning up, and Spo loved playing that way with Ray Allen. But Strus is a more effective way of getting buckets.
So Pope, he would rather guard Devin Booker than Duncan Robinson. Like, what? I mean, what's going on here?
It's a cardio thing.
It's just chasing him around the whole time.
I understand the chasing around, but
that's what it is. It's just
Nate McMillan isn't drawing that shit up for Trey.
Right, but if he misses his first 3 shots, he's gonna, cave in, fall into a shell, and then you don't have to guard him anymore. That's how Duncan works, right?
What did you make of Tyler Hero's father telling Izzy that the Heat would be a 500 team if not for Tyler Hero? What is that? Come on, Dad.
I'm
a good dad.
I'm team stop interviewing dads.
Put it on the poll, please, Billy, at LeBatard Show. Are you team stop interviewing dad?
I agree.